Dear Sandra, it's a great honor and true pleasure to welcome you here in Lviv at Lviv National University. My name is Julia Lysannets and I'm the head of the Department of International Cooperation at the Fund of the President of Ukraine for Education, Science and Sports, which organizes and has launched this particular program, Visit and Professors program, and we are truly honored to welcome you as a participant of this program. So I would like to ask you several questions for our community and for our institutional development. So first of all, of course, what motivated you to come to Ukraine, especially during this difficult time, during the war, and what motivated you to participate in this Visit and Professors program, which was organized by our fund? Thank you so much.
So I think it's various aspects that motivated me. Firstly, so I have a friend who has been to Ukraine many times also in the recent months and years and has sent me pictures and told me positive things about Ukraine and the different cities. And then for this particular project or for general academic exchange, I have a colleague in Oxford who is from Ukraine visiting, and she speaks a lot about life and school and university in Ukraine, and it sounded very interesting to me to experience it myself. Like we only get to see a very restricted view and perspective on British and German media. So yes, I mean this is what motivated me, curiosity, I guess, and then people being very nice and open, and the website of the project sounded very engaging. It sounded like there's a lot of possibility to design and interact and get in touch with professors and students. I like teaching a lot. I like mentoring. I like speaking about research with others, learning. Yeah, it sounded like this could all be included together with lots of cultural impressions. Yeah,
it's really inspiring how these institutional links actually result in these meaningful academic visits that actually we are now experiencing. That's wonderful. So just building upon this previous question, I would like to ask you what are their major goals of your visit and what outcomes are you hoping to achieve, and probably what further steps for continued collaboration you envision in the future.
So my goals here are to get as much interaction as possible, to get impressions on how people work, what people work on, what people are interested in. This morning I met some PhD students. They work on very different topics from me, and also some of the topics are things that I didn't know about before. Maybe people in other countries work on this as well, I guess, but I learned a lot from this already. I always like learning, so the exchange, seeing with other researchers what common grounds we have, what common questions we can ask. Particularly about Ukraine, it's to see also how people design their lives right now, how people manage education and research in these times. That's very inspiring to me. Yeah, I guess, I mean, for me, the biggest outcome would be as much exchange as possible. Also, I'm very excited to go to a school to see how Ukrainian schools work. To meet many people, to tell them about what I do, hopefully inspire them, get inspired myself. I already got a lot of inspiration, and hopefully continue this contact. I already made plans to visit again.
It's brilliant. Wonderful.
Yes.
It's great to hear. Yeah, speaking about students and academic life in Ukraine in general, I'm aware that you have been to Ukraine just for less than a week so far, but still I wonder if you have noticed any distinctive features about Ukrainian students, faculty, or academic culture in general. So maybe something impressed you, if anything, yet. So could you please share?
So about the academic, I haven't met so many students yet. I would say the students are quite similar to the students I know from Britain and Germany, at least in when they talk about their work. People are generally, I would say, very, very open, very welcoming, very friendly. In general, I get the impression that people are quite relaxed. There's a lot of fun in general happening. People are extremely flexible. I hope this is not just for me, but in general, I get the impression that people make things possible. People don't see problems rather than working towards solutions. Yes, now and also after my presentation, I got really inspiring questions from people who seem far from my area, but still were very, very interested. People seek the contact. People ask me about my life in the UK. So I get very open minds maybe.
It's wonderful that you experience such a vibrant
vibrant is a good way.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yes,
good expression.
Wonderful indeed. So speaking about students' like specialties, I would like to ask you one more question. I mean, in Ukraine currently, there is the vivid tendencies that female students are largely underrepresented in STEM specialties in general and computer science in particular when they pursue their university studies. I mean, so they are underrepresented comparatively to their male peers, so less female students choose this path. So how would you encourage and motivate more young female students to actually pursue STEM in general and computer science in particular?
I mean, we have this problem in other countries as well. I have tried to contribute and support women in computer science as much as I can. I have managed, I have organized a few workshops already. I organize 2 networks of women in computer science. I do a lot of mentoring. I think it's, on the one hand, important for them to see that there are actually women in computer science. I think it's important not to be intimidating as a professor or a more experienced researcher in a way. So I usually often talk a lot about my own process and how I deal with things when I don't, like how I find solutions or try to find solutions. I give them a lot of feedback. I motivate them, I encourage them, I talk about, like in my mentoring relationships, I notice this a lot. Lots of women in computer science or on their way into computer science, they have the same doubts, they have the same things that they think about outside of their research, and lots of times I hear that it just helps them to speak about it. So I seek the exchange. I also think it's very important to get into a network of women in computer science. Where, or it doesn't have to be just women in computer science, but where there are many women in computer science or in
embedded
STEM.
in context.
Yes, yes.
That's very important.
So I try to get them in touch with other women in the area. I try to, like what I do also when I organize an event, I always try to have female speakers. When I speak myself, I try to get in touch with the women. Yeah, that's, but I think it's, I myself think it's a process that becomes more effective with more women in computer science. So you want more women in computer science, but it's easier to get them if there are more women in computer science. So you have to fight for every single one, I think.
Sure. So you're actually helping them to tackle with their fears and to tackle with the obstacles. And even though if it's difficult, but there is nothing impossible if you really want to achieve this. It's very important indeed. And I also would like to emphasize that our fund, the Fund of the President of Ukraine for Support of Education, Science and Sports, specifically supports their talented and gifted Ukrainian youth, so high achievers in education and winners of Olympiads. And in this context, I would like to ask, what advice would you give to Ukrainian talented and gifted youth to pursue STEM and computer science in particular, those who want to develop and thrive and grow in this particular field? So what advice would you give to this particular cohort of students?
I think there's a lot, particularly in university life or academic careers, that people learn slowly, but it's not really explicitly taught to them. And it's a slow process with some of these things that could be sped up if people talked more about it. And I think I would recommend people to try science, to try research as early as they can, like read a paper or think about some questions, have an exchange with other people about research questions if they think about doing research at some point. I think that's one thing. And then also, I think it's very important that people learn that it's normal that often things don't work out and we don't right away find the answer to something. Because when you go to conferences or when you talk to other researchers, often they speak about their successes. They learn that they should present themselves in the best light. And so young students, they get the impression that everybody just understands everything. And when then they go to the lectures and they don't understand it, they think, oh, this is not for me. So I think it's just important that people develop the right mindset and develop the mindset that works for them. So maybe I think one thing I learned, or was important in my own career, is that I got for a long time I thought there was like a very strict standard about things, and if I don't do them like this or they don't feel right like this, then I'm not suitable for this. But then research and academic careers in general, they have quite a wide range or a wide potential for freedom. Like you can design things, that's what I like. You can design your research, you can design your work. And I think it's good if the students try this out, if they just try different ways, different approaches, and experience a bit with research.
It's wonderful. I think that we can recapitulate this general advice, like, for example, we could say, be flexible, start early, and don't be afraid, right?
Yes, and be curious.
Yeah, wonderful, and you will succeed. That's
hopefully.
Great. Yeah, thank you so much, Sandra. It was a great pleasure to have this discussion with you, and we wish you all the best in your international cooperation activities, specifically with Ukraine and this university, of course, and we look forward to welcoming you again soon in Ukraine, so during your next visit. So all the best, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been so far a wonderful experience, and it's a great honor that people welcome me so nicely, and everybody's so engaging. I really enjoy it.
We are highly delighted to welcome you. Thank you.